Hi, welcome to Anything Goes. My name is Amanda, and today I am bringing to you 3 fall DIYs that are made from a specific material, and that material is wood. Today I'm participating in a challenge called What Would You Make? And it is hosted by OK at Home DIY, Marsha's Mush and Stuff, and their guest host is Sweet Little Home. I will have all of their links along with the playlist in my description box below. So let's get our DIY on. I'm starting out with 5 pieces of differently sized blocks of wood. I don't know the specific sizes of them. It was a random piece of wood, and I sanded them a little bit with my sanding sponge, and as you can see, it really did tear up my sanding sponge. I was surprised at that. It's really my first time DIYing with raw wood. So to start with, I take my Kiln's chalk paint, and the only reason I have that one is when I went to get chalk paint, and I've had that for a year, so that little size there has lasted me a year in the color white. Anyway, when I went to Walmart to pick up some white chalk paint at that time a year ago, because of COVID and everything, it was all that they had. So that is why I'm not brand loyal to a specific chalk paint yet. I haven't used enough of it to figure out if I like one better than another. So it's what they had available, so I bought it and was happy to have some kind of chalk paint to use. So I'm mixing some orange acrylic paint with it, and I'm going to apply that to all of the pieces of wood. And I was surprised it only took 1 coat of paint. I was expecting it to require more because it's raw wood. After the paint had dried, then I grabbed my sanding sponge and sanded the corners and the edges, the top, the bottom, basically just all around. And I was really planning on just sanding and stopping there, but then I thought it needed a little more of an aged look. I thought the orange kind of stuck out a little. So after I sanded it, then I grabbed my Waverly wax, and I love this stuff. This stuff I do love. I like to use a sock to put it on and to wipe it off, an old sock that's laying around, something with holes in it. So I put it on, and then I take it off, and then I put it back on, and I take it off, and I just keep on playing with it until it is the color that I like the best. I apologize for having such a long piece of footage of me applying the wax. I did not intend to have that much of it, but somehow it got extended, and I guess I didn't cut it, so I do apologize for that. So after the wax is applied to all 5 pieces of wood, then I let them sit and dry. And I had picked these packages of letters up from Hobby Lobby, and they were in their clearance section for $2.74, which I thought was a great deal for the size of these letters, because they are really large letters, way bigger than the ones from Dollar Tree. I am spelling out the word hello, which is why I needed 5 pieces of the wood. And I just thought that the white popped so nicely on this rustic orange color. And I don't think I show myself doing this, but I do apply Mod Podge to seal the letters in, and I let that dry. So after the Mod Podge is dried, I believe this greenery is from Dollar General, and at first I thought I was gonna just hot glue them down, the leaves down, but it didn't sit right. So I ended up gluing the wine corks as the stem first, and then cutting apart each leaf and gluing it down individually, because when they were all connected together, it was bulky. It was extremely bulky. That's a good word to describe what it was like. So I decided to just cut each one off separately and hot glue it down. And that way each pumpkin, which if you didn't know by now, these are square pumpkins. Each pumpkin, their leaves were different, and they all were laying in a different way, which is how pumpkins are. They're not perfect. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever read the book Spookly the Square Pumpkin, but I did read that as a teacher and to my kids, and this really reminded me of Spookly the Square Pumpkin because I was making square pumpkins. And here is what it looks like when the whole project is complete. DIY number 2, I'm going to be using some of the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree, along with I bought the regular size Jenga blocks, but the Walgreens brand, which were $5 a box. And I went ahead and painted them the same color as the pumpkins. And I did do all of the painting and everything at the same time. I cut up the footage to put it together with each DIY. I didn't paint them as I did each project. So like you can see the square blocks just kind of sitting there off to the side drying. And I did the same exact thing to them. After I applied the orange and sanded them down a little, then I applied the Waverly wax to each of the Jenga blocks. And I love the wax. I love the feel that it leaves behind to the wood. It gives a nice, soft feeling and almost a sealed in feeling to it. So I set those aside when I was done with that. And I grabbed one of the Dollar Tree frames, the square frames, that you can find in the picture frame section. And I took the back off. I took out that piece of the artwork that was in there because I wasn't going to use the artwork. And I grabbed a piece of buffalo check scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. I believe they were 69 cents, and the day that I picked it up, all of their paper products and scrapbooking products were 50% off. So if you go at the right time, you can really find some good deals, and that's what I do. I always hit the clearance, and I only purchase if it's 50% off or higher. So I Mod Podged that directly onto the cardboard backing, and you did see me take out the glass because my plan was to put the glass behind the cardboard, which you see me doing here. And that way that would give the front a little bit of stability, and it would give it some weight because I'm going to be gluing the Jenga blocks to the front of this frame, and I needed it there to be some type of strong backing to it. And I'm showing you what I'm spelling out here. I'm spelling out the word fall. So my pumpkins will say hello, and this little sign will say fall. But as I was gluing down the very first Jenga block, the glass broke. So, which is fine. I learned my lesson. Don't trust the Dollar Tree glass to use in the back or maybe even in the front of a frame. So luckily I did have some foam core board, and I grabbed that and I cut it down to the size that I needed it to be to fit behind that frame to give it the stability it needed. And then I was able to continue, because you see I only got one Jenga block down. Then I was able to continue gluing down each of the pieces to spell out FALL. And I love working with both sides of the Jenga blocks. I love the ones from Dollar Tree, and I love the ones I get at Walgreens. Like I said, they're $5, and the box is even taller and wider than the Dollar Tree one. And I just like having two different sizes of them because I can make something in a smaller size and then also in a larger size. In this case, it came in handy because if I had used only the large Jenga blocks, I would have had a much larger sign, and I didn't really want that. I needed it to be sort of small because the pumpkins were big and I don't have a large space to display this in. So that's why I wanted to use the large Jenga blocks only for the vertical portions of the letters, and then the small ones for the horizontal. And here is what it looks like all done. I have it sitting in a like a stand, like a photo stand. And our last DIY number 3. I picked up this poor looking tray from the Humane Society thrift store, and I wasn't quite sure if it was a drawer from something, if it was a tray, or what it was, because the markings on the side kind of confused me. But I was going to call it a tray, so I did the same exact thing that I did to all of the other wood that I worked with previously. I painted it with the orange chalk paint, And then I went around and gave it a coat of the Waverly wax until I liked the way that it looked. And after that dried, then I pulled out the same buffalo check paper that I used previously. And as you can see, the square doesn't fit, so I had to cut it down. And then came the really fun part, matching up this tiny little strip that I needed to cover to make it so that way it covered the whole thing. But once I got it down, once I got the right sizes cut, then I Mod Podged it down to the bottom of the tray. And then I applied Mod Podge all around the entire tray because I wanted this to be water resistant, and I did give this several coats of the Mod Podge in case drinks were set on it, in case anything like that, any spills. And I wanted you to see that I got really frustrated with the foam brush and switched to a regular brush because it was breaking on me. So I almost was gonna buy some buffalo check ribbon that was 40% off in the Christmas section, but then I found that the ribbon section was 50% off, and they had this heavy duty, really thick faux leather buffalo check ribbon. So I thought that's gonna make great handles. So what I did was I glued it down on each side so that it met in the center, and I used my staple gun and stapled the handles to all the way down at the bottom to cover up that gap that was there. And then I stapled it to the edge so that the handle would lay down in a downward manner. And then I wanted to try to cover up the staples, but this didn't really do it. So I did hammer in some gold tacks in all 4 of the corners. And by the way, if I didn't mention before, I got the tray for 50 cents at the Humane Society thrift store. And here is the final outcome of the tray. Again, I don't know if it was meant to be a tray or not. So I had the opportunity and had a company send me 4 pillowcases that they carry on Amazon, which I am posting the link to where you can purchase these pillow covers, which I thought were so gorgeous, and they went right along with today's theme, the fall decor that I made. So one of them is a pumpkin, one's a leaf, and those 2 are striped, and then one says blessed, and the 4th one says gather. And the link to purchase these will be in my description box below. And I'm showing you here how they have a zipper at the bottom. So all you have to do is stuff in pillows that you already have, and then you can just fold them up and put them away when you're done using them. So here is some photos of the finished setup that I did. I paired these pieces with some items from Dollar Tree, some pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and then some other things from Hobby Lobby. Those metal houses were in the Christmas section, and I thought nobody would know if you put those out year round or not. My white houses were also in the Christmas section, which was all 50% off. So I always keep my eye out for those items that you can use year round, and you can put in and have in with any decor. The little pumpkins on my couch, those are from Dollar Tree. It's their ceramic pumpkins, which I absolutely love. You're getting a little sneak peek at my son's artwork and how I display some of the paintings he's made in his art class. And here is the footage, the video footage of how everything came out together. And I really do love how my square pumpkins came out and how it all kind of matched with the pillowcases, with the color orange, and the buffalo check just kind of tones it down a little so it's not just all of this orange everywhere. And I'm going to end the video with some more pictures. The garland at the top is also buffalo check, and that was in the Christmas section. And I thought I can put that out all year with all of the different holidays and non-holidays, just regular time. That sign that you see hanging in the center, that is a sign I made a year ago, and that is made with the Dollar Tree letter, so you can kind of see the difference between the H's there. But what I did was I put a hook in the center, and as different holidays come and go, I simply change out what's in the center for the O. And right now it just has a wreath because we were kind of in the middle of no holidays, but it will have a pumpkin soon. Thank you for watching.